Well, welcome everybody. Uh, I'm wearing my monk mask today, uh, just for effect, because we're actually going to go into a very important reality. We're going to talk about the oldest virus that has ever existed on this planet, and it's been uh, identified and named by this guy, Eckhart Tolle, in his book, The New Earth. Um, and the oldest virus in the world would be, he called it the pain body. And when it's real, I think I'll unmask so I don't fog up too much. I'm going to explore this brilliant addition to spiritual knowledge, uh, the pain body. Um, Eckhart talked about it. Eckhart Tolle talked about it in The Power of Now a little bit, and then in his second book, A New Earth, which I would totally recommend to you. And if you happen to have it sitting on your shelf, unread or read a while ago, I would go back to chapters 5 and 6, which are strictly where he develops an understanding of what he calls the pain body. And I've been around for 70 years. I've had a lot of ups and downs, a lot of painful moments, but a lot of them personal. But in terms of a kind of planetary or certainly national pain body, I've never been in a situation quite like this. So I thought it'd be good to inject into our discussion. Um, the Eckhart explains the pain body as we all have pain. We all are born into an fairly unconscious world, and because of that, we run into pain. We run into pain. We run into trauma, even, and depending on how we deal with it, there'll be more or less residual pain left in our bodies, literally in each and every cell of the trillions of cells. And so that's, he just posits that, and and he talks quite a bit about it. Again, I'm just going to give you a little thumbnail look at it, maybe in about 10 or 15 minutes, and then we'll do a formal practice of Tonglen, and then we'll be open for a discussion. But and he even says, and I think this would be in accord with how the Tibetans see life, that no child born comes in free of the pain body. Because the Tibetans feel we come from lifetime to lifetime, and we're doing several rodeos here, and that we bring in, one of the things we bring in is all the residual pain that we've experienced, and that's with us. And it's a question of, well, how do we deal with it once you can accept that premise? And I think we all know about the fact that, like, when I say right now, the pain body is really active, and during this election season, there's just pain body can be sort of dormant, or it could be active in any individual person, but then we're all living in communities, community of the planet, community of 350 different pain bodies. And when they get fired up, we feel it, whether we're, sequestering in a place like Loose Leaf Hollow or not. We're not immune to it. It's like a virus, and it can be transmitted. Watch the news. Transmission. There's many ways. We have outbreak in Kentucky now of COVID, and the governor was saying that about 40% of the people carrying the virus don't know they have it. Well, it's the same way. The first part, big problem with the pain body is we don't even know we have it. Think of that last argument you had with somebody you loved. And, it happens usually when the honeymoon is over. If you have a kind of intimate relationship, when the honeymoon is over, there's one morning and you say, "Who is this woman?" or "Who is this man that I married?" And they change totally. It's like you don't even know them well. It's really the pain body has come out to feed. One of the things about this reservoir of pain we have is it needs nourishment. It's like a virus, you see, and so it feeds on pain, and that's the interesting thing. So the more pain, the better. Tomorrow in the Monday morning poem, I'm putting on a poem called "The Pain Body Attack," and it talks about when the pain body breaks out between you and your beloved, you and your husband or wife or partner. And it's the most intense. The pain body loves family, it loves intimate relationships because that's where the most triggers are, you see. And so I think it'll be worth catching that poem. But today I want to talk about three things here, like how we normally react to the pain body in unconscious ways. When the pain body comes up, when there's pain, we mostly react in unconscious ways because we don't really even know there's some other being inside our body. When Jesus did all these healings of demonic possessions, I think what he was working with was people's pain bodies. We think it's some other demon in people. Again, if you read those couple of chapters in A New Earth, read them like 4 or 5 times. You get a real education in your own pain body. That's the first thing. You make it conscious. But when we react to the pain body, that's unconscious reaction. And I want to talk about that. And I want to talk about how you can, once you learn about this, you can react, you can respond consciously. This is the ball game. You're either way, you got a pain body. It can be small, it can be large, it can be active, it can be dormant. Some of you guys should know the Enneagram. We can talk about sometimes there's like 4 numbers that are more or less active normally by temperament. There's four different temperaments that are normally dormant. And then there's one temperament that denies the whole thing totally. It's very interesting. If some of you know that, you might be able to see what that is. We can talk about it sometime. But okay, so how do we react unconsciously? Because basically we don't even know about the pain body, but all of a sudden it's here. All of a sudden somebody says something and you get pissed off. You even explode. Add alcohol to the situation and it's even more volatile, So we generally, depending on your temperament, you will react with avoidance. That's sort of my temperament. When I start to get angry about something, the pain body starts to come up. I just try to avoid the whole thing, repress it. Some people react with aggression. So there's avoidance, there's aggression. And then some people react with attachment. They actually hold on to it. You could hold on to an argument or a word said for decades. And every time something comes up to remind you of that argument or that word somebody said, you feel the same pain. It's like it's having a little snack there, and it can go on for decades. So aversion, aggression, attachment, we sort of normally have our modes. But again, that'll scan out with the Enneagram too, but sometimes you could do all 3. That's all unconscious. Okay, so, and that leads to total identification during the time. That's the big problem. You totally identify. I'm mad. I'm angry. I'm jealous. I'm envious. I feel a terrific greed or hatred or whatever. We say I'm, and so we identify it, which is part of this unconsciousness. Okay, and then the negative thoughts start going. The loop starts going. Gee, nobody really understands me. Nobody cares about me. Oh, they've always been a bitch or a bastard. You know the loops. They start running And then that's more pain. This is how the pain body feeds, with especially with that tape loop that starts going in terms of negative things. Uh, and then you can be in that loop for who knows how long. And the pain body all the time, you're suffering, other people are suffering, the pain body is eating. It's nourishing, just like a virus. It's what they're talking about. He just put another name to it. We call it sin or possession, or we call sin passions. I think we're just trying to get our hands around this. Can be very strong, you see, this pain body. Now, when you learn about the pain body and when you can practice with it a little bit, you can not react, you can catch it. First, the first thing, the way you catch it and you respond rather than react, and you say, oh, there's the pain body rising. You feel it. I mean, you feel it in your body. That's why he calls it a pain body, not just pain, because you start to feel, you're starting to grip down. You're starting to clench a little bit. We all have those ways when you feel yourself start to tighten a little bit. You turn the corner in, Walmart with your cart, and then you see the one person that's always hated you. That's actually good news, because you say, "Oh, pain body's here." So that's the first thing. You face it. That's there's the three A's, the triple A of reaction, which is avoidance, aggression, and attachment. Well, there's the three F's. Good mnemonics to remember how you can respond consciously. The first one is you face it. Oh yeah, pain body's rising in me. Okay, and then the second thing is you feel it, because any kind of aggression is just boomeranging it out to somebody else. Avoidance, repression is just trying to not feel it. So that you face it, yeah, pain body's there, and then you feel it. Okay, and then you flow with it. So it's a disidentification. So you say, well, I'm not angry. Anger's rising in me. The old pain body is coming out for a snack. That's a big difference. That's a huge difference. That's the main difference. You don't identify with it. You know what it is. You say, hey, all right, this is a lot of residual pain in here. Something's triggered it. Okay. And you face it, you feel it. In the Shantideva's guide for the bodhisattvas in Tibetan tradition, he'd say at this point, you would put a stick in your mouth and chop that on the stick, because anything that comes out of your mouth, especially when you're unconscious that the pain body is rising, you'll be speaking the pain body, and you'll insult your beloved, or you'll say something that for years you'll wish you haven't said, and your partner will hold on to that for years if he or she has a pain body that's unconscious too. You see, so here's the options. You avoid it, you become aggressive, or you attach to it. Those are the unconscious reactions. And then in the conscious reaction, because consciousness is the solvent here, you face it. Oh yeah, pain body. You feel it. There's no shutdown here. You feel it. You just allow the feeling, okay. And then you allow it to flow on. If you don't identify with it, it's going to come, it's going to go like anything else, you say. And you try to say as little as possible and do as little as possible about it, other than ride it out. That's really hard to do. Even when you learn this and study it the way I've studied it, oh man, I'll be, 2 days into something before I realize the pain body's been having a buffet here for a couple of days at my expense and at other people's expense. So, you just have to really work at this. That's why I really suggest, if you don't have the New Earth by Eckhart, it's by Eckhart Tolle, well, go, get from the library, buy a used copy, buy a new copy. 10 times the price would be worth it just for those 2 chapters. And the rest of the book's really good too. But, Eckhart Tolle's, he's like a non-dual Hindu. He's an Advaita Hinduism, and that's really what he's given you most of the book. But the pain body, his work with that, something unique. Nobody else has this slant on it, and it's not like from 4,000 years ago. Everybody's been talking about it. Nobody's really named it. This is a great gift that we have from having Eckhart Tolle, and really study this thing, because most of the unhappiness that we experience comes from not recognizing that we're possessed. There's another being inside of us, and you know that right there is your first defense. Just like now, 40% of the people, they don't even know they have it. So when you go out and around people, you wear a mask. Okay, protect yourself. Maybe I have it. I don't know. So you're wearing a mask. So you take that first line of protection, but to be conscious that this is actually a potential in you. Now, the third thing, and then we'll go on and, because consciousness is the thing, you work with it consciously, and we're going to head towards Tonglen, because when you're conscious, sometimes running through that, face it, feel it, flow with it, it's just not strong enough. And so then you look for conscious practices to work with it, and that's where Tonglen is. And that's why you start with Tonglen for yourself, which we will. So it's great and Tonglen is a heavy duty, I haven't found better practice for this. And man, we are going to need it. We need it now in this election time. And we're going to need it for a while. If you're thinking, oh, gee, I can't make it to election day, well, there's going to be like election month or weeks, so we really got to get ready for a long-term dealing with this pain body. Some people emit a terrific amount of it. Some of these rallies, Hitler's rallies and, Trump's rallies. Why do people go to these rallies? Well, their pain body gets fed by somebody speaking about hatred and pain and whatnot. Say, why do we watch violent movies? Or NFL football? Well, why do we watch NASCAR? Train wrecks? Well, there's something in us that feeds off that pain. Say, something in us that feeds off that pain. Even guys who don't like Trump are drawn to it. Well, they're not drawn to it. Their pain body is drawn to it. And let's see this train wreck here. What has he said today? You see, he's got the most active pain body that, in politics today. And people who do the last thing in the world they want to do, they turn it on because it's sort of like there's something in them that feeds on the pain. So don't do that. Start to get wise. Now there is a kind of therapy, and I'm not talking about one of these fancy chemicals that there's no real actual vaccine where you can be cured of the pain body and you'll won't have to hassle with it anymore. And I don't think there's a vaccine for it, but there is a kind of therapy for it, and that would be a regular everyday meditative or contemplative practice. Because I'm thinking of my teacher Thomas Keating. He calls it the divine therapy, because when you sink down into your deepest depths, and you're just one-on-one with the divine, lots of healing happens. Lots of pain gets combusted there. Just as when we do Tonglen, which is a formal practice, there's a lot of your own pain and a lot of pain of others you're doing for it, because we eventually, in most formal Tonglens, you move out and you make it bigger and bigger and bigger, and you're just consciously the consciousness transforms the pain in both you and other people. How did that happen? No logical way to explain it, but the practice speaks for itself. And when you've done it long enough, and once you hit it, you realize, yeah, especially Tonglen for ourselves, which we were talking about last week. That's why we always start doing it ourselves, and we will today again. Okay. And so we'll have some time to fine tune this on the the back end after we actually go into this. Tonglen is a conscious dealing with the pain body, your own, the pain body of individuals you know who are having a tough time right now. I got an email this morning by one of my dear friends, and she's having a really tough time right now. I'll be doing it for her, and then also for our community, for the nation, for the world, the planet. You see, we'll sort of move it bigger and bigger, but we'll start with ourselves. Okay. And then on the back end, when we can talk about it, we can fine tune a little bit. But this research of Eckhart Tolle's book and those chapter 5 and 6, really going to be worth your time to delve into that. Okay, so let's switch to meditative mode. We'll do some Tonglen. I'm going to sound 3 chimes, the 3 gongs, and start out just doing the breathing, just doing nasal breathing, just breathing in, breathing out. When you do that, you're really relaxing and doing Tonglen for yourself. You're allowing, somehow, you're allowing the pain that's in every cell to release. It actually, like the picture I showed you at the beginning, which was a gift by a friend who sent me that picture. I wanted everybody to see it. It's a beautiful picture because she's pointing right to the heart. And it's also, this is a very feminine practice. This kind of dealing with the pain body it's in the heart, it's the feminine consciousness on us, which has unfortunately for 10,000 years been suppressed. So we're letting it come back into our lives now. This idea of this healing consciousness. Okay. So it's happening in the heart. When you do it for somebody else, you're breathing in their pain and suffering and sending back through your heart some relief, whatever it is. Okay. All right. So here's, let's give it a shot and then we'll talk about it after. And if some of you are that new that you've never heard of Tonglen, just let me know. Just drop me a line and I'll send you some info on it. I'll let you catch up. All right. Bon voyage.